Shalom Aleichem Malachei Asharet Malachei Elyon Mi Melech Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Boachem L'Shalom Malachei Shalom Malachei Elyon Mi Melech Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Barchuni L'Shalom Malachei Shalom Malachei Se'etchem l'shalom malachei shalom malachei elyon Mi melech malachei amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Well, hello there. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It's great to have you along for this special, not that it isn't always special, but today is extra special, our Kabbalat Shabbat service. My name is Matthew Leibel. I'm one of the rabbis here at Congregation Shered Zedek, and we are coming to you live, not from the Rabbi Burkle Chapel like we usually are, but from the sanctuary, the beautiful sanctuary here in our synagogue at Shered Zedek, 561 Wellington Crescent, the corner of Wellington and Academy in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, broadcasting all over the world. Got to get my chat going here. It's a little bit of a different setup. So I just need to make sure that I find it. And so welcome. It is great to have you along. And another reason why this is a very special Shabbat is that it's well, hopefully, maybe you picked up some food from our kitchen, our catering over the course of the week or earlier in the week to celebrate, because we have a special program after our Kabbalat Shabbat service. My partner and co-rabbi Anibal Mas and Leslie Emery are going to have a 20-minute, exactly 20-minute program. It's for everyone, but especially for young kids and their families, to bring in Shabbat using blessings, music, and puppets. So that is coming up at 6:30 at the end of this service. Other than that, it'll be like we usually have. Aside from the fact that I'm here at the grand piano, baby grand, which is pretty great. And I had this friend years ago who, my last name's Leibel, he used to jokingly call me Liberace. I played the piano, and now I really do feel like Liberace with the Shabbat candles here on the piano. I've got the wine ready to go for Kiddush later on. It's kind of a cool setup. It's like an elegant dinner concert. Hopefully you enjoy. But of course, it's really just to add a little bit of atmosphere and joy and music to our Friday night Kabbalat Shabbat prayer service. So we need a Siddur on our website, szwinnipeg.ca. Maybe that's where you're watching, or on YouTube or on Facebook. But on the website, szwinnipeg.ca, we have a link to all of the different Siddurim, the different prayer books we use for our different services throughout the week. And for Friday night, it should be labeled the Friday night service. If you are following along with a physical copy of the book, it is the Siddur Chadash, a blue book. We start on page 174. With a psalm before the recitation of the mourner's Kaddish. Mizmor shir Chanukah bayit leDavid armim charanaki litani velo simach do'evali. Going to go get my list. I'll be right back. at the bottom of page 174. Leman yizamercha chavod v'lo yidom Adonai Elohai leolam odeka. We turn now to the words of the Mourner's Kaddish, which are found on page 176, also on page 124. We mark the transition from the days of the week from Chol to Shabbat later in this service. But for our purposes, it is still the 19th day in the Hebrew month of Cheshvan. And on the 19th of Cheshvan, we remember the following people whom we lost on this day. Bertha Blumenthal, Beula Brick, Bela Badgitzel Ufegel, Vera Vida Finkel, Vitsha Bat Avraham Pinchas, Israel Friedman, Yisrael Simcha ben David Umechla, Isidore Jack Gutkin, Yitzchak Yaakov ben Motel Halevi, Victor Hamovich, Sylvia Lauer, Clara Levine, Chaya Sarah bat Moshe Hersh, Rose Ludwig, Louis Gerald Magid, Lebish Gedalia ben Shlomo, Melvin Manishin, Zev ben Yaakov, Gittel Nathanson, Gittel bat Yaakov Manish, Shirley Newman, Sora Etel bat Zava Vishendel, Harry Rice, Winifred Rubin, Mindel bat Yaakov, Barbara Sodolov, Brocha Tova, all of blessed memory. As well, from One More Candle, the organization that helps us remember the 1.5 million children who perished in the Holocaust by ascribing a name of a child for every day of our calendar. Today we recall the name of Abigail Finkel of blessed memory. Also, this past week, we honor the memory and mourn the passing of Sharon Goralnik, Sarah Leah Bat Yosef Etova, Jeffrey Isaac Goodman, Mordechai Yitzchak ben Minya, Robert Hyman, Ruvain ben Yitzchak v'Sarah, Esther Schuster, Lubov Shilshtut, and Barbara Levy, Rachel Bat Avraham, all of blessed memory. All those in mourning or observing a yard site for the 19th day of Cheshvan are invited, wherever you are, to rise. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach, le'alam u'lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitale v'yithalal, shemei dekudsha b'richu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, huyaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. You may be seated. Now we officially begin Kabbalat Shabbat on page 22 in our Sidur Chadash, again available on the website. The way that the Kabbalat Shabbat service is constructed is a series of psalms specifically picked to remind us of creation, because of course Shabbat is the 7th day of the week, reminds us of the story from the very beginning of the Torah, which we reviewed not too long ago, a few weeks ago, that God created the world in 6 days, and on the 7th day God rested, and so we rest as God did on Shabbat. But for the first part of the service, the Psalms remind us of the glory of God's creation, and there is so much great music. Hopefully, wherever you are, you can join in. We can hear you. This could be dangerous. I usually have a very tiny keyboard where I can't do a lot of fun stuff. We could get carried away tonight. But hey, it's Shabbat. It's fun. And I just want to do a special shout out now, in case I forget later. Hopefully I won't forget later. I don't usually have a crew for this service, but because I'm in the sanctuary, they won't let me in here by myself, probably a good rule. And so I've got my main man, Marvin Polanski, a.k.a. My Favorite Marvin. It's a joke from TV from the 70s, My Favorite Marvin. And Marvin helps me sound and look as good as it gets. So thanks, Marvin. Page 22, L'chu Naranana. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, ladonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, ladonai. Naria, naria, letsuri shenu, nekad mafanav betoda. Naria, naria, letsuri shenu, bizmirot naria lo. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, ladonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, ladonai. We continue silently through the rest of the psalm until we get to the closing lines, 3 lines from the bottom. Hi gadol Adonai umelech gadol hakol Elohim. Three lines from the bottom. Arba'im shana kud bedor v'amaram to'e levavhem vehem lo yadu derachai asher nishbati ve'api mivon el menuchati. We move to page 24. Shiru ladonai, shiru shir chadash, shiru ladonai, kol haaretz. Shiru ladonai, shiru shir chadash, shiru ladonai, kol haaretz. Shiru ladonai, baruchu shemo, basru miyom liyom yeshuato. Shiru ladonai, baruchu shemo, basru miyom liyom yeshuato. Sapru vagoim foro becholamim niflotav. Continuing silently until another great song, which will be 4 lines from the bottom. Let's get to that one. 4 lines from the bottom. This one you really need to sing. Yismechu hashamayim. Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yihiram hayam, Yihiram hayam, Yihiram hayam umelo. Yihiram hayam, Yihiram hayam, Yihiram hayam umelo. Ya alo sadai, sadai, ya lo sadai, sadai, ya lo sadai, v'chol asher bo. Az yiranenu, az yiranenu, az yiranenu kol hatzeyar. Az yiranenu, az yiranenu, az yiranenu kol hatzeyar. Lifnei Adonai kiva, kiva lishmor haaretz, yishbot tevel b'tzedek, ve'amim be'emunato. Page 26. Adonai malach tagel haaretz. Bottom of page 26, 2nd line from the bottom. Or zaru al tzadik uleishrei lev simcha simchu tzadikim badonai ve'odu lezecher kodsho. What's going on with my talit here? Felt a little crooked. I have a personal wardrobe consultant now for Shabbat services. She will remain nameless. It's a little inside joke between me here and a couple other people I told. But I'm working on having the folded talit so it doesn't distract me as much. But I get easily distracted. Page 28. Mizmor, Shir Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Ki Niflo Rasav, Shir Leminos Roa Kodsho. I'm going to pull out some of the best music tonight, I think. I can't go long, though, because remember, at 6:30, there's a 20-minute special program featuring Rabbi Anibal Mas and Leslie Emery. Blessings, Music, and Puppets. It's the name of the program. I don't know if they knew that. About the middle of the page, starting with the word Zamru Ladonai Bechinor, reminding us about using instruments and using music and using song to praise God. This is a melody taught to me by Rabbi Mas, the way they do it in Argentina. Zamru Ladonai Bechinor, Bechinor V'cho Zimra, B'chatzot Tzror V'kol Shofar, Hariu Lifnei HaMelech Adonai. Lifnei Adonai Kiva Lishpot Haaretz Yishpot Tevel B'tzedek Ve'amim B'meisharim. We go back to a chorus. Veyoshveva Neharot Imcha Uchaf Yachad Harim Yeranenu. Page 30. Adonai Malach Yirgezu Ami. Ramim Adonai Eloheinu V'ishtavu Ladom Raglav Kadoshu. 2 lines from the bottom. Ramemu Adonai Eloheinu V'hishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ramemu Adonai Eloheinu V'hishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Ramemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Ramemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu V'hishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu V'hishtachavu lehar kodsho. And now we're going to move ahead to page 34. I was just thinking to myself, it feels weird. I am usually in the chapel. And I'm usually standing because of the way the table is there, and I've got my keyboard on the table. And tonight I'm sitting. It's very comfortable. I've got my Liberace set up here, like I said. Just do that every once in a while. Readjust the mic. And so I'm sitting. So I'm thinking about how it feels a little strange. But for this next one, I'm going to ask all of you, wherever you are, to get on up. The Kabbalat Shabbat service I mentioned starts off with a series of psalms, 6 psalms, in fact, that don't just describe aspects of God's creation and the nature and the world around us, but the number 6 to subtly allude to the 6 days of creation. And then the 6 Psalms lead us up to Lecha Dodi. The crown jewel of the Kabbalat Shabbat services, one of my teachers and our former senior rabbi and Rabbi Emeritus, Rabbi Alan Green, used to say quite regularly, the crown jewel of the Kabbalat Shabbat service, Lecha Dodi, when we personify Shabbat as a beautiful, majestic bride, and imagine her coming into our rooms, our houses, our lives. And quite a very special, long lyrical poem. That's next. This is the last psalm before that, and so we rise. Page 34. Mizmor leDavid, havu l'Adonai b'nei Elim, havu l'Adonai kavod va'oz, havu l'Adonai kevod shemo, ishtachavu l'Adonai behadrat kodesh, kol Adonai al hamayim el hakavod, hirim Adonai hamayim, hamayim, hamayim rabim, hamayim, hamayim, hamayim rabim. Kol Adonai bakoach, Kol Adonai behadar, Kol Adonai shover arazim, Vayishaber Adonai et arzei halvanon, Vayarkidem kemo egel Levanon, Vesiryon kemo ven reimim, kemo ven reimim. Kol Adonai chotzev lahavotesh, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, Yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai yecholel ayalot, Vayechesof ye'arot uvehechalo, Kulo mer kavod, kulo mer kavod, kulo mer kavod. Adonai lamabu yashav, vayeshev Adonai melech leolam, Adonai oz le'amo itein, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom, et amo v'shalom. You may be seated. And now we've arrived at Lecha Dodi, pages 38 and 40. It's a long poem, and so some people choose a couple of the verses and skip through, but I don't like doing that. If you've been with me before on Shabbat, you know I guess I'm Lecha Dodi old school. But you can't do the same melody over and over. Thankfully, Lecha Dodi is up there with Adon Olam and Lador Vador among the liturgical compositions in Jewish tradition that have had the most different musical versions written of it. And so we're able to cover kind of the whole prayer, the whole hymn, but also we're able to explore a few different musical versions of Lecha Dodi. The first one by a rabbi I learned of over the course of this pandemic, a singing rabbi, Rabbi Josh Warshawski. Then the one that I associate with my Ramah Hebrew School days, the upbeat Hasidic dance one, and then the one by Craig Taubman to bring us home. Lecha Dodi, Likrat kala P'nei Shabbat Nekabela Lecha Dodi Likrat kala P'nei Shabbat Nekabela Shamor v'zachor B'dibur echad Hishmianu El HaMiuchad Adonai echad U'shemo echad L'shem Tiferet V'litila Lecha Dodi Likrat kala P'nei Shabbat Nekavela Lecha Dodi Likrat kala P'nei Shabbat Nekavela Likrat Shabbat Lechu v'nelcha Ki mekor ha-beracha Merash mikedem nisucha Sof maseh b'machshava techila Lecha dodi Likrat kala P'nei Shabbat Nekabela Lecha Dodi Likrat kala P'nei Shabbat Nekabela Mikdash Melech Ir Melucha Kumitzei Mitoch HaHafecha Rav lach shevet be'emek habacha Vehu yachamol alayich chemla Lecha dodi Likrat kala P'nei Shabbat Nekabela Lecha dodi Likrat kala P'nei Shabbat Nekabela Hinari me'afar kumi Livshi bigdei tifartecha mi Al yad ben yishai Beit alachmi karvayel nafshi ge'ala Lecha dodi Lecha dodi likrat kala P'nei Shabbat nekabela Lecha dodi likrat kala P'nei Shabbat nekabela Page 40 Hitoreri, hitoreri Kiva orech kumi ori Uri, uri shir daberi Kivod Adonai alayich nigla Lecha, lecha, dodi, dodi Lecha dodi likrat kala P'nei Shabbat nekabela Lecha dodi likrat kala P'nei Shabbat nekabela Lo tevoshi velo tikami Matish tochachi umatehemi Bachech esu aniei ami V'nivneta ir al tila Lecha dodi Lecha dodi likrat kala P'nei Shabbat nekabela Lecha dodi likrat kala P'nei Shabbat nekabela V'ayulim shisa shosaich V'rachaku komev alayich Yasis alayich Elohaich Kimsos chatan al kahala la 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 Lecha dodi likrat kala P'nei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha lecha dodi likrat kala. Pene pene Shabbat nekavela. Yaminu smol tifrotzi ve'et Adonai taritzi al yadish bein partzi v'nismecha v'nagi la 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 lecha dodi likrat kala pene pene Shabbat nekavela lecha lecha dodi likrat kala pene pene Shabbat nekabela. We made it. The last verse of Lecha Dodi is maybe the most special. This is the one we stand. Wherever you are, unless you're me, because I'm going to keep playing, but wherever you are, stand and face the door. Doesn't have to be east, it's the door. And maybe you want to close your eyes, but you're going to picture the Shabbat bride coming through that door, the chala. Boi chala, we say. Come on in. Come on in, Shabbat bride. And if you've been to a wedding, you know it's the big moment when the bride enters. So let's get ready. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha uvetzola. Toch emunei am skula, boi chala. Boi chala. Lecha lecha dodi likrat kala pene pene Shabbat nekavela. Lecha lecha dodi likrat kala pene pene Shabbat nekavela la 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 lecha dodi likrat kala pene pene Shabbat nekavela. Lecha lecha dodi likrat kala pene pene Shabbat nekavela. Please be seated. I hope you enjoyed that one. We got 2 psalms left. After Lecha Dodi, Kabbalat Shabbat has 2 psalms. The first is on page 42. Mizmor shir leyom hashabbat tov lehodol Adonai zamer l'shimcha elyon. Four lines from the bottom. I almost thought that I would cut this one, but I was like, I'll cut something later. I just like this melody too much. Tzadi Katamar, 4 lines from the bottom. And the words, if you have the translation, reminding us that the righteous will flourish like the palm tree. Tzadi Katamar Yifra Keherez Balvanon Iske Shtuli Bevet Adonai Bechatzrot Eloheinu Yafrichu Od Yenuvun Beseva Deshenim Verananim Iyu Lehagi Ki Ashar Adonai Suri Tsuri Velo Avlatabo. Final Psalm of Kabbalat Shabbat, page 44. Adonai Malakeu Laveh. Eidotecha nemnu me'ol leveitcha nava kodesh Adonai leorech yamim. In a moment, we'll continue with Aravit, which is the evening service and the official beginning liturgically of Shabbat. In anticipation of this, let's turn to page 124 for the Mourner's Kaddish. We now remember those in our congregation whom we lost on the 20th day in the Hebrew month of Cheshvan, as Shabbat this week falls on the 20th of Cheshvan. Jack Abrams, Yaakov Moshe ben Simcha, Harold K., Tzvi ben Hillel v'Tzipora, Mel Leonoff, Mendel ben Levi v'Sarah, Jack Levitt, Yaakov ben Zev Halevi v'Esther Malka, Marley Medzen, Mala bat Zalman, Harry Milinarski, Tzvi ben Barish v'Sarah, Molly Raber, Malka Esther bat Yisrael Ubela, James Rosenstock, Israel ben Yitzchak v'Chayalea, Rochel Sternfeld Goldstein, Yechaya Rochel Freidel, bat Ella Upessel, Donald Wasserman, David Ben Zava, all of blessed memory. And from one more candle, we remember Galina Finkel of blessed memory. All those in mourning or observing a yortzeit on the 20th of Cheshvan are invited, wherever you are, to rise. Page 124. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah. Ba'alma divrach irutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'chayi dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach le'alam u'lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitalev v'yithalal shemei dekudsha barichu. Leila min kol berchata v'shirata. Tush bechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Osesha yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav. V'yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. I invite everyone to rise or remain standing for Baruch Hu on page 50, which is the call to worship and the official beginning of Aravit for Shabbat. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach leolam va'ed. Please be seated and continue silently on page 50. Through the first of two blessings before the Shema, we'll pick it up at the words Uma'avir Yom with the special Aravit Shabbat Nusach. Umavir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzvaot shemo. El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai. Hamariv haravi. Page 52, the second blessing before the Shema. Ahavat olam beit Yisrael amchavta. Three lines from the bottom. Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu, uvahem negei yomam v'layla, ve'ahavat chal tasir mimenu lolamim. Baruch atah Adonai. Ohev amo Yisrael. Let's join together on page 54 as we cover our eyes for the Shema. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. We continue silently through the rest of the Shema, pages 56 and 58. Adonai Elohechem Emet. Page 60, the lead up to Milchamocha. Emet v'emunah kol zol v'gayim l'negiv Adonai v'nevezot v'nach v'Yisrael. U'malchuto beratzon kiblu aleihem Moshe v'nei Yisrael l'chanu shira b'simcha rabah ve'ameru chulam mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh nora tehilot osef eleh Shima churcha ra'u vanecha Bokeam lifnei Moshe Ze'elianu ve'amru Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed V'ne'emar kifad Adonai Yaakov Ugalo mi'ad chazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai Gal Yisrael Hashkiveinu Adonai. Wait, I should mention the page. And then maybe get the right chord. Page 62. Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Skip ahead to 3 lines from the bottom. Ushmor tzeiteinu uvoeinu lechaim ushalom me'ata ve'ad olam Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim V'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim V'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. So go to where we finished when we did the skip ahead. Ufros. 2 lines from the bottom. Ufros aleinu Sukkot Shlomecha, Ufros Aleinu Sukkot Shlomecha, Baruch Atah Adonai, Hapores Sukkot Shalom, Aleinu ve'al Kol Amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim, ve'al Yerushalayim, ve'al Yerushalayim. Amen, Amen, Amen. Okay, page 64, another time to get on up wherever you are. V'shamru, V'shamru, V'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, Lasod et ha-Shabbat, Ledorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti leolam, oti leolam. V'shamru, V'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, Lasod et ha-Shabbat, Ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, et ha-shamayim ve'et haaretz. V'shamru, V'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, Lasod et ha-Shabbat, Ledorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. V'shamru, V'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, Lasod et ha-Shabbat, Ledorotam berit olam. Think of a lot of things when we do that melody for V'shamru, but I think of my friend David, who is watching right now. Shabbat Shalom, David, who learned that one from his camp counselor, Camp Ramah, Wisconsin, back in the late 60s, I think. And next thing you knew, that camp counselor turned out to become a very famous cantor, and I believe maybe rabbi as well. Moshe Rothblum. Imagine that. Always reminds me of that great story. We have the Chatzi Kaddish before the Amidah. Page 66, you can remain standing if that is your custom, or take a seat in anticipation of the Amidah. Yitgara ve'yitgara shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach chirutei ve'amlich malchutei, v'chayechonu v'yomechonu v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala v'agala u'v'hizman kariv, v'imeru, Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach, le'alam u'lamei amaya. Yiparach ve'yishtabach, v'yitpar v'yidromam v'yinaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, shemei dekudesha barichu, le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Now I invite you all to stand for the silent Amidah. The evening Amidah is always a silent Amidah. You can use the words of the Siddur. Page 68, the traditional opening, just the patriarchs. Page 69, the more modern opening with the matriarchs included, which we use in all of our out loud recitations here at Congregation Shaare Zedek. Hebrew or English follow through the pages of the Siddur. Or take this opportunity to use your own words of prayer. It's the first Amidah, the first private audience each of us has before God of this Shabbat. So it's always encouraged. If the words of the Siddur aren't exactly capturing what you're feeling in this moment, definitely use your own words in whatever language they come. We'll take a few moments, a few minutes to pray silently. I invite you to face east while you stand, as is our custom, for the silent Amidah. I knew my friend David would catch me. He was never a cantor, he became a rabbi. And he was Craig Taubman's rabbi. Craig Taubman had one of the versions of Lecha Dodi we did, and also that Hashkivenu. See, everything makes sense. How's the Talit going? It's shifted a bit. I wanted to continue with the last part of our service. I got 6 minutes. We can do this. Don't forget, coming up right after Kabbalat Shabbat, join Rabbi Anibal and Leslie Emery as they bring in the Shabbat with blessings, music, and puppets. It's an exactly 20-minute program, especially for kids and young families, but really everyone is welcome. And yes, it will be available right here. You don't have to do a thing. Just sit and enjoy. Today, this is all part of something called the Shabbat Project. And I just wanted to give you a little bit of background on the Shabbat Project so you understand why this Shabbat is even more special than the usual Shabbatot we celebrate. For several years now, Jewish organizations around Winnipeg have joined communities around the world in celebrating the International Shabbat Project, starting tonight. Congregation Shared Zedek in the past has hosted events, dinners, special services in honor of this occasion and as an expression of solidarity with Jews everywhere. This all began because we know Shabbat is an age-old holiday that's bound the Jewish people together for generations. To create a sense of renewal within the community, the chief rabbi of South Africa offered a simple solution. Jews from all walks of life, across the spectrum of religious affiliation, young and old, and from all corners of the world, come together to celebrate the day of rest. The initiative was such a runaway success that communities around the world began calling the rabbi and asking to participate the following year. And there, the Shabbat Project was born. Since the first project's inception, thousands of events have been celebrated in more than 1,600 cities around the world. Endless celebrities have jumped on board. Am I a celebrity? I don't think so. D-list, maybe. But real celebrities have jumped on board to promote this grassroots movement, and it continues to grow. The Shabbat Project is about creating a new Jewish future together. This year, with the pandemic, we may not be able to gather in person, but communities everywhere will be offering meaningful virtual programming to mark this occasion, such as this, and keep the movement going. So thank you for joining in for the Shabbat Project. Now let's conclude our service beginning on page 80. Some people have the custom to stand from here through Kiddush. It's 10 pages. I leave it up to you. Vayechulu hashamayim v'haaretz v'chol tzavam vayechal Elohim bayom hashvi melachto asher asa vayishpot bayom hashvi mikol melachto asher asa vayavarech Elohim et yom hashivi vayekadesh oto kivo shavat mikol melachto kivo shavat mikol melachto asher bara Elohim asher bara Elohim laso. We turn to page 82. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Agadol Hagibor ve'anora El Elyon Koneh Shamayim Va'aretz. That was weird. Magen Avot Bidvaro Mech Chaye Meitim B'mamaro Ha'el HaKadosh Ein Kamohu Ameniach Le'amo B'yom Shabbat Kodsho Kivam Ratza Le'aniach Lahem Kivam Ratza Le'aniach Lahem Lefanav Navor B'yirav V'fachad V'nodeh Lishmo B'cho Yom Tamid Mein HaBrachot El HaHodaot Adon Adon HaShalom Agadesh HaShabbat Umvarech Shevim Umeniach B'kedusha Le'amedu Shnei Oneg Zecher Le'maseh Vereshit. Page 84. Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu Retzei V'imnuchatenu Kadeshenu b'mitzvotecha V'ten chalkeinu b'toratecha Saveinu mituvecha V'samcheinu b'shuatecha V'taher V'taher libeinu le'ovdecha be'emet V'taher. This is your part. V'taher libeinu le'ovdecha be'emet V'hanchilenu Adonai Eloheinu Be'ahava uvratzon Shabbat kodshecha V'anuchuva Yisrael Mekadeshei Shemecha. Come on, V'taher. Can't believe I said come on. V'taher libeinu le'ovdecha be'emet V'taher libeinu V'taher libeinu V'taher libeinu le'ovdecha be'emet Baruch atah Adonai Megadesh HaShabbat. Page 86, Kari Shalem. Yigadal v'yigadal shemei rabba be'alma divrach hirteva michmalchutei b'chaychon v'michon chayro be'Yisrael b'agalav v'zman kari v'imeru. Amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevorach le'alam u'lam me'almaya. Yiparach v'ishtabach v'yitpar v'yidram v'yinaseh v'yidadar v'yidalev v'yidalal shemei dekudesha brichu le'la min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'imeru. Amen. Titkabal tzlot hon uvot hon decho Yisrael. Kadam avohon divishmaya veimeru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'ko Yisrael veimeru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav uyaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al ko Yisrael veimeru. Amen. Page 90, Kiddush. Usually I give a little teaching, a little toast. I've already gone over time. Mani Shana, why should this Shabbat evening service be different from any of mine where I'm always a few minutes over time? I just wanted to say, there's a great teaching right off the bat in this week's Parsha, which is Vayera. It's the one where the three men, hint, hint, I can't do air quotes holding the mic, and the three men, they're angels, we suppose, right, dressed as men, go to visit Avraham. And we're taught of Avraham and Sarah's hospitality. And from this story, we learn about Hachnasat Orchim. A lot of people know that this is a cornerstone Jewish value. We talk about the chuppah in a wedding, the canopy being open on all four sides because Avraham and Sarah's tent was open to travelers coming from all directions. And it's meant to remind us that all new couples who are married under the chuppah should make their home a place of warmth, hospitality, where friends, family will always be welcome. These are strange times. But just as the Shabbat project keeps going in spite of adversity, finding new ways, maybe using technology, certainly using technology to be close when we can't physically be together. Just because we're in a pandemic, we have not lost sight of the importance of hachnasat orchim, of welcoming guests. I'm certain your Shabbat dinner tables are not nearly as full as they used to be, but they will be again. And between now and then, find ways to use Zoom and FaceTime and calls and texts and emails. Hachnasat orchim doesn't have to be just about physically celebrating together. It's about welcoming people into our lives. Just as we don't actually see a bride walk through at Lecha Dodi, well, maybe we do. Maybe Lecha Dodi transcends physical boundaries, and maybe Hachnasat orchim does as well. That's all I have to say. Grab whatever you got. For me, it's Manischewitz. Ooh, the boys busted out a new bottle. Concord Grape, 2017. I don't know what's wrong with me, honestly, I'm a child. Page 90. Page 90. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho be'ava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit Ki hu yom techila l'mikrae kodesh zecher litziad Mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim B'shabbat kodshecha be'ava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. To the welcoming guests, L'chaim. L'chaim tovim u'shalom. Oh, I wasn't as active on the chat today. I was checking out what people were saying. Seeing if Yehuda says, yes, he does. How sweet it is. May you all have a sweet Shabbat. I couldn't agree more. Let's remain standing for Aleinu, and then the mourner's Kaddish to conclude our service. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula liotzer b'reishit, shelo asanu gegoye aratzot, velo samanu kimishbechot hadama, shelo samchelkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam. Vanachnu korim umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim akadosh baruch hu. V'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad U'shemo echad. Thank you again to everyone. What a great turnout, an unbelievable record audience here for Kabbalat Shabbat. I am so privileged and honored that you invited me into your homes or your wherever you are. Maybe you're at work, maybe you're in the car, audio only. Thank you for making our virtual congregation on this Shabbat, celebrating the International Shabbat Project. Remember, coming up in a minute, right after the Kaddish, Rabbi Anibal, Leslie Emery, blessings, music, and puppets. A 20-minute, It's timed. It's not like me. A 20-minute production, especially for kids and families, but everyone, stick around. It's going to be right here. Whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or the website, it's coming to you live right away. For now, though, let's conclude with the Mourner's Kaddish on page 124. We have a custom at our shul here, Congregation Shaarei Tzedek, for this final Kaddish. We keep in mind how many people have no one to say Kaddish for them. So we invite you to stand all together, wherever you are, and recite the Kaddish in their memories at this time. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, b'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach, le'alam u'lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudsha berichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, v'yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who creates peace and harmony on high bring peace and harmony to us, to all Israel, to all of humanity. And again, let us say amen. Thank you to all of you. Don't go anywhere. Thank you to Marvin, my favorite Marvin. Shabbat Shalom. However you spend it, wherever you spend it, may you be infused with the power and spirit of Shabbat and also the togetherness of the Shabbat project. We'll see you next time. Shabbat Shalom.
הנה מה טוב היו מנעים שבת אחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב היו מנעים שבת אחים גם יחד
הנה מה טוב היו מנעים שבת אחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב היו מנעים שבת אחים גם יחד
הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים יחד הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים יחד הנה מה טוב ומה מנעים אוי 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 שבת אחים גם יחד שבת אחים ויחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב ומה מנעים
שבת אחים גם יחד שבת אחים ויחים גם יחד
הנה מה טוב היו מנעים שבת אחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב היו מנעים שבת אחים גם יחד
הנה מה טוב היו מנעים שבת אחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב היו מנעים שבת אחים גם יחד
Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. We hope life is going well wherever you are, and we are excited to bring in and celebrate Shabbat with you this evening. Rabbi Mas is on the keys. I'll be singing, and of course, hidden behind the scenes is the mysterious Marvin Polanski here to help us out this evening.
Oh ho, mysterious music.
We look forward to davening and singing with you all this evening. What's our next tune, Rabbi? Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon. ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. בואכם לשלום מלכי השלום מלכי עליון. ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום מלכי השלום מלכי עליון. ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום מלכי השלום מלכי עליון. ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
And now we are at the part of our evening where we want to encourage you to take a deep breath and find your kids. Hopefully they're still at the table or near you or somewhere in your house. And if they're nearby, gather them close to whatever feels right for you. We're going to do a family blessing. You can put hands on heads. You can give a big hug. You can chase after your toddler. Whatever feels right for you in your house. Please, let's join together.
יברכך אדוני וישמרך, כן יהי רצון. יאר אדוני פניו אליך
כן יהי רצון.
יישא אדוני פניו אליך ויעצם לך שלום.
כן יהי רצון.
Okay, here we go.
שישו את ירושלים גילובה, גילובה כל אוהביה, כל אוהביה. שישו את ירושלים גילובה, גילובה כל אוהביה. על חומותייך דוד הפקדתי שומרים, כל היום וכל הלילה. על חומותייך דוד הפקדתי שומרים, כל היום וכל הלילה. שישו את ירושלים גילובה, גילובה כל אוהביה, כל אוהביה. שישו את ירושלים גילובה, גילובה כל אוהביה.
אל תדע ואל תחד עבדי יעקב, כי יפוצו משנאיך. אל תדע ואל תחד עבדי יעקב, כי יפוצו משנאיך מפניך. שישו את ירושלים גילובה, גילובה כל אוהביה, כל אוהביה. שישו את ירושלים גילובה, גילובה כל אוהביה. בשנה הבאה נשב על המרפסת ונספור ציפורים נודדות. ילדים בחופשה ישחקו תופסת בין הבית ולבין השדות. עוד תראה כמה טוב יהיה בשנה הבאה. עוד תראה טוב יהיה בשנה הבאה. ענבים אדומים יבשילו עד הערב ויבשו צוננים לשולחן, ורוחות רדומים ייסעו עליהם הדרך, עיתונים ישנים וענן. עוד תראה כמה טוב יהיה בשנה הבאה. עוד תראה כמה טוב יהיה בשנה הבאה. ואלה הידיים, עוד לא בניתי כפר, עוד לא מצאתי מים באמצע המדבר, עוד לא ציירתי פרח, עוד לא גיליתי איך יוביל אותי הדרך ולאן אני הולך. עוד לא אהבתי די הרוח והשמש על פניי. עוד לא אמרתי די, ואם לא עכשיו אין מתי. עוד לא שתלתי דשא, עוד לא הקמתי עיר, עוד לא נתתי כרם על כל גבעות הגיר, עוד לא הכל עשיתי ממש במו ידיי, עוד לא הכל ניסיתי, עוד לא אהבתי די. עוד לא אהבתי די הרוח והשמש על פניי. עוד לא אמרתי די, ואם לא עכשיו ומתי.
אשרי ביתך עוד יהללוך סלע. אשרי ביתך עוד יהללוך סלע. אשרי העם שככה לו, אשרי העם שאדוני אלוהיו. אשרי העם שככה לו, אשרי העם שאדוני אלוהיו. Yum bitty bum bitty bum bitty 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 bum bitty bum bitty bum bitty 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 bum bitty bum bitty bum bitty bitty bum bye. Yum bitty bum bitty bum bitty 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 bum bitty bum bitty bum bitty 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 bum bitty bum bitty bum bitty bitty bum bum. אשרי העם שככה לו, אשרי העם שאדוני אלוהיו. אשרי העם שככה לו, אשרי העם שאדוני אלוהיו. Yum bitty bum bitty bum bitty 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 bum bitty bum bitty bum bitty 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 bum bitty bum bitty bum bitty bitty bum bum. Yum bitty bum bitty bum bitty 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 bum bitty bum bitty bum bitty 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 bum bitty bum bitty bum bitty bitty bum bum. אשרי העם שככה לו, אשרי העם שאדוני אלוהיו. אשרי העם שככה לו, אשרי העם שאדוני אלוהיו.
Now, if you didn't sing the Yum Bitty Bum part, but you're wishing that you did, you're lucky. This is being streamed and you can go back and try and sing it really fast. It's actually a lot of fun to do. It is. It'll make you smile. Guaranteed. Are you ready, Rabbi?
I am.
All right.
Hava nagila, hava nagila, hava nagila venismecha.
Hey!
Hava nagila, hava nagila, hava nagila venismecha.
Hey!
Hava neranna, hava neranna, hava neranna venismecha.
Hey!
Hava neranna, hava neranna, hava neranna venismecha. Uru, uru, achim, urachim, b'lev sameach, urachim, b'lev sameach, urachim, b'lev sameach, urachim, b'lev sameach, urachim, urachim, b'lev sameach. Little faster. Here we go. Hava nagila, hava nagila, hava nagila venismecha. Hava nagila.
Havana ranana, Havana ranana, Havana ranana, veni smecha. Havana ranana, Havana ranana, Havana ranana, veni smecha. Uru, achim, urachim, v'lev sameach, urachim, v'lev sameach, urachim, v'lev sameach, urachim, v'lev sameach, urachim, belev sameach.
Hava Nagila Hava Nagila Hava Nagila Benismecha. Really loud. Hey!
Hava Nagila Hava Nagila Hava Nagila
Another hey.
Benismecha.
Hey! Habanera-na-na, 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 Benismecha. Habanera-na-na, 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 Benismecha. Belev sameach, belev sameach, belev sameach, urachim, urachim.
Belev sameach. Shabbat Shalom. Evenu Shalom Alechem. Evenu Shalom Alechem. Evenu Shalom Alechem. Evenu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Alechem. Evenu Shalom Alechem. Evenu Shalom Alechem. Evenu Shalom Alechem. Evenu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Alechem.
David melech Israel, chai chai vekayam.
David melech Israel, chai chai vekayam. David melech Israel, chai chai vekayam.
David melech Israel, chai chai vekayam.
David melech Israel, chai chai vekayam. David melech Israel, chai chai vekayam. Shabbat Shalom and welcome everyone. Some of us are at home with our families, some of us are at home on our own, but we are all online together here, bringing in Shabbat as a Jewish community wherever we might be. We're going to do our Shabbat Seder, and we have some special guests this evening who you will see in just a moment. Shabbat Shalom, everyone! I'm so excited I got invited to bless the Nerot, the candles tonight. Are you ready? Let's join together. Achat, Shtaim, Shalosh. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. I'm so surprised that I was invited to do the Kiddush today. You know, I've been misbehaving all year, but nevertheless, I'm very happy and it's a great honor to be doing the Kiddush for all of you. By the way, guys, I miss you all. So hopefully, very soon, we'll be celebrating Shabbat together in person. Now, the Kiddush. You need the bottle of wine. You need your cup. and you need to fill it up with wine. Ready? Are you ready? Okay, very good. Let's do it together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri agafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shavat kodsho, v'ahava v'ratzon, הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה בראשית. כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. קיוונו בחרת, וידענו כי דאשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך, ואהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. And now you say amen. L'chaim.